Hi guys, today I'm here to show you the site placement process. So to begin the process, you're going to go over to Site Placements here on the corner of your dash page and click My Site Placements. So when you begin to look for a practicum site, everything you're going to be doing is under this first tab called Site Connect. So when overviewing, these are all the practicum sites that are already approved by Pepperdine. Something that's really important for me to mention, you will not click the start button until you have accepted and gotten approval from your CTC team to begin your paperwork. So for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to click a test site. None of these are real sites. You can't look at these. These are just for us to have for training purposes. So I'm going to click test site for demo. Let's say I interviewed here. They offered me a position. I sent out an email to my CTC team letting them know that I'd like to accept. They're going to overview it and maybe discuss a few things with me. And then they'll send me back an email of approval saying go ahead and proceed. And now I'll click start. Again, this is for beginning paperwork and they're making sure do you want to. I've done all those things that I just mentioned. So yes, I am ready. So once you begin the Site Connect placement process, there's two different sections. There's the first section and there's the second section. This section all needs to be complete in order to do any of the tabs in this one. So the first section is a please read section. I'll overview what this entails, but it's really important for you yourself to go in and read all the details about what this entails. The first one is that you need to upload an approval email from your CTC team to accept an offer that you have received from a practicum site. It's really important that you email your campus CTC team for approval. So again, I've interviewed, they've asked me to join them. I email my campus CTC and ask, hey, am I okay to go further? And I've gotten an email saying, yes, you can go further. In addition, this is for, let's say your supervisor isn't in Tavera. And you can find that out by actually, clicking a little bit ahead and going to the section 2. For section 2, it lists all the supervisors that are already in Tavera under my practicum site. So these are all of them. But what the section of the please read was talking about is, let's say that my supervisor wasn't here for some reason. Let's say I needed HL supervisor test. That's the supervisor that I want and need. This is talking about that you need to fill out this form in order to request for them to be added. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what that would look like. So I kind of did a little example earlier, but it's important that all of this step is filled out in order to complete it. So one, you're recording that your Pepperdine email is included with your response. That way we can reach back out to you if we need to follow up. Your first and last name, what campus you belong to, if you're a part of the Aliento program, your supervisor's first and last name. So for the example that I was talking about, that would be my supervisor test. Let's say that, again, we didn't see that listed. So that's one that I want to add. Their email, whatever their email is, you should have that on file. What type of license they have, what's your supervisor's license number, and it specifies the date the supervisor was first licensed, their expiration date, and what site is this for. So, this would be for that test demo site. And so you would fill that out and submit it, and then the team would overview it and make sure everything's okay, maybe ask you some follow-up questions before adding them. Some of those questions, such as like their license number, that's information you can contact your supervisor directly about, or you can verify their license at this website. So there's a couple routes, but mainly talking to your supervisor specifically will be really helpful for you to get that information. And then you scroll down, and so this assignment is actually just an acknowledgement, so you click start. And again, this shows us that you've read this and you acknowledge that all of those things need to be completed for the process. Here is a tab where you'll get to upload that email approval that we talked about from your CTC team. So you're going to click start. Oh, and this is also just, again, that form that on the other page that you can request to add your supervisor here as well. So you're going to click start. You're going to upload. This will be a screenshot of the email, but for the purpose of this example, I'm just going to put a test. That way no one tries to see if it's anything important, and it's going to be reviewed by the clinical training approvers, and you're going to click submit. Great. So this section is all completed. The next section is to talk about your supervisors. So again, if your supervisor is not listed, that's where you'll go on to the select a site information and you'll fill out the supervisor request form. Hopefully most of the time your supervisor should be here. If not, no worries. For the sake of this example, let's say that my primary supervisor is ED Supervisor Test Supervisor. So I'm going to click yes, start, and you're going to click yes, I'm ready. So again, this is the supervisor, this is the site. My supervisor has been assigned to me from my practicum site, and then I'll begin the process of completing all the steps here below. So the first one that you're going to complete is entering your practicum dates. So here you're going to fill out the date that you received an offer from your practicum site, and then you're going to enter 3 years from today's date. It tells you to be mindful of the dates you add here. These dates will allow you to stay connected to your site and supervisor while you're in graduate school. So that's making sure they have access to your information and you can still log hours underneath them. In order to complete this assignment, you need to have uploaded your approval email from the CTC team, and it needs to be completed and reviewed. So I just did mine, so I'm still waiting on them to approve it. But once they've approved it, then I will be able to fill out this section. The next is the BBS Supervision Agreement. We have a separate video on our YouTube channel that goes over this more in depth, but it also gives you really great instructions and information right here for you as well to overview. The second portion is your four-way agreement. We also have a separate video that goes over the four-way agreement, but something that I really wanted to point out for the purpose of this example is that what if I have two practicum site supervisors? Typically, you'll have a primary supervisor and you might also have an additional supervisor. For the four-way agreement, this one needs to be filled out for your primary supervisor. So you can only do option A for your primary supervisor. So if ED Supervisor Test Supervisor was my primary, I would complete option A for this portion. And again, you can't do it until you've received approval and acceptance, but I will complete this form. Now let's say I wanted to add a secondary supervisor. I'm going to go to the bottom and click Add Supervisor. So let's say then NH Supervisor Test is my secondary supervisor. So because this is my secondary supervisor, I'm only going to be filling out option B for the four-way agreement. Again, this is for additional supervisors at the same site. So that is the Practicum Site Connect placement process. I know it's a lot of information at once, so if you have any follow-up questions, feel free to rewatch the video or feel free to reach out and we'll all be happy to help.